Alright. Let's get going. No, Suwa, I don't care. Alright, I can offer favors or I can revoke privileges. Let's revoke privileges. Because they have so many of them. Well, I'm about to get mill tax. Would be in my best interest to remove ceremonial offer from certain posts. That way, tech costs will... the tech cost of military technology will reduce, which is a benefit. Ah, I can go provinces now. Ise and Sima. This one's actually a decent city. It's not amazing, but at least it's decent. And it has a trade harbor, so... it's actually going to be quite helpful in calculating CE. Only 10 days. Yep. Factus. Furious. Oh no. Great. Okay, so... chance of losing all that stability is 1/2 times 1/2, so 1/4 times 3/4, so 3 out of 16. The chance of losing no stability is 1/4 times 1/2 times 1/2. So 1/16. 3/16s, 1/16. And the rest is, well, sort of between 2 and 3 with a favoring of 2. I'm probably going to be at 0 stability now. 0 stab. However, 1 and -1 are both have a decent chance, and I'm probably not going to come out of the sun saves. Though it would have been nice. I figured. Oh well. I'll recover from this, just like I've recovered from everything else. It's just going to be a while before I demote the greater nobles and revoke any more privileges. Although I think I will revoke another privilege from the lesser nobles again, to finally get rid of their autonomy. Oh wait, no, I've already done that. Probably reduce their tax exemption so that they have something to focus on. Working to get it back. No, the advisor died. Context shuffle. Alright, let's see here. It's going to be a while before I can get control of this province. However, as soon as the court and state, it's probably going to be past its equilibrium point, and separatism will decay over time anyway, so... I also wonder, how much population? Yeah, it's gonna take the burghers a while before they could even think about taking over the city. population is, and actually rural development is almost the exact same. So it would take about this level of development for Ise to be handed over to the burghers rather than the greater nobles, which is still quite a while. And finish off the road here. Yeah. It feels good to take the time to develop the infrastructure across the realm. With very large amounts of manpower. Reckless! Great for fighting, terrible for just about everything else. Like actual sieges. Or prestige. Too brave, or whatever. Uh-huh, no church displeasure. That makes this the obvious choice, because usually there's a chance of church displeasure, which is going to reduce my capability of earning stat points, reduction in not prestige, but reduction in legitimacy, increased unrest, all the sorts of things I don't want to deal with. I can finally afford level 19 in military tech. Improved cavalry coming up soon with the wheel-lock muskets. I'm also, despite the fact that I have only level 16 in administrative, considered decently ahead in the world. I mean, Europe's starting to really catch up, but I'm on par approximately with Korea. Actually, yeah. If you add our tech levels together, we all have the same tech levels, just that mine are a bit more extreme, with their lowest being 17, since they have 18, 17, 20, and I have 16, 20, 19, so my lowest is 16. But that's because I have to take the effort to core everything myself. Although I have to admit, Korea's starting to look scary over there. They really are. On the other hand, if I were independent, I would come quite close to becoming a great power. Then again, it would take a little while. And I'm forgetting to include how much of a factor institutions are when they're not embraced. I mean, there are also other issues in the game that the AI can have some level of difficulty dealing with. The best example being communication efficiency. However, they do seem to be doing a good job of building trade wharfs. I do believe the capital has one as well. Yeah. In fact, they seem to have them almost all over their coastline, plus a decent road network, which would definitely help with communication efficiency. As well as the Dalian Bay. Yeah, it seems like things are going quite well for them, at least over here. Now on this side, recently conquered, so Marshall. Well, nope, very poor communication. That's their nearest road to their capital. And that's their closest trade war. Well, so yeah, you're going to need to develop a decent road and harbor system to actually get these under control. Otherwise, they're just going to have max autonomy the entire time and possibly also revolts. But please, keep doing what you're doing, because this is going to make it much easier for me to conquer you. Yeah. Because within my entire country, I think this might be the worst communication efficiency. 19 days. 23. Yep, here's the worst. Heck, here it's even good. "13 days. 7. Yeah. I still think it's probably in my best interest to build a trade harbor, so I'm going to build that. Because in M&T, as with well, all the mainline Paradox games outside of Crusader Kings 2, and to a degree, Way 4, you're playing as the state. As a result, while yes, you want to guide your people, you do want to make the best situation for yourself, giving you the most amount of control and the best chance to overcome your enemies. I mean, that's one of the natural directions of evolution for a state. You want as many resources to yourself as possible in order to ensure your own survival. Since the state is to a degree somewhat like an organic being, it will do its best to ensure its own survival. The combination of international politics and internal politics. Which is why every state also has, to a degree, at least in modern times, an ideology that it tries to follow. Because if it can convince its citizens that they have principles that they follow, it stands a much higher chance of continuing to enjoy the support of the population. Especially since most states know that if they really want to, an angry populace can easily overthrow the government. This is especially true in Victoria too, although I'm talking about the time period, not the game. In the game, rebels are a bit of a joke, which they shouldn't be. There were not many wars in Europe, because everyone was afraid that a bad war would cause rebellion to rise up. I mean, what happened in the United States during the Vietnam War? A lot of people protested the war in Vietnam. Because they felt it wasn't the right thing to do or whatnot. And that it got in the way of various other things that they found to be important. For example, education, the economy, and it ended up being pretty unpopular after some time. At the beginning, it was pretty popular because, stick it up to the commies. Pretty much the whole American diplomatic stance for the majority of the Cold War. But eventually it got long, grueling, and there really wasn't anything there for the American populace. They liked sticking it up to the commies, but outside of that, they really had no interest in the war. It's 1492, and I'm going to get innovative. I'm in Japan. I'm going to get innovativeness for the quest for the new world. This feels a little cursed, I have to admit. My naval force limit is that so. Where's another good spot to build? They all have 466 days, so I'll just build my capital. Well, yeah. I'll just build my capital. It's the least likely to have anything go wrong to it. So. I'm going to recruit an explorer. once I have 3 new light ships to work with. Because I'll be exploring using light ships, that's for sure. I want a transport, please. Looks like it's gonna be built in. Bingo! I'm sorry, I just don't like listening to the hymns. Yeah, one of the issues with turning on just random shuffle instead of weighted shuffle is I just start getting war music all the time. Oh well. I will have to be honest, after listening to Eastern music almost non-stop for an hour for weeks now, I actually prefer listening to this. So I do get tired of the same music over and over again. God, the lag is starting to get... Okay. I do know this is for sure tribal. This is probably tribal, so... Yeah... 4 or 5 songs. I'm fine with... some of them, but... You know, it's like with anything. After a while, you will get tired of just about anything. I really would not need to prove communication efficiency here. Not unless I decide to build up something like the education. Which reminds me, I actually want to check the education out, see how it's doing. Right, okay. So, all pops that were studying abroad are now studying here in Hosokawa. That's good. Still think I should build more universities, however, because I still have a large number of pops that... Yeah, 25, so 250,000 upper class without access to universities. So I should check areas where there are a decently sized upper class population. Isn't there a special map node for that? City data... No... No. Economic indicators... No. Farming rate... No. Definitely not tribal settlement, and not minorities. I guess not. I mean, I can check urban population on the trade map node. $400 to $640. Wow. Kyoto's have gotten even bigger since the last time I checked. 414,000. Yeep. Oh well, that's not the way to remove all the modifiers. Okay. So I should still check for the highest. Well, it's probably most helpful to check the dev and find where the highest... Huh? Okay. Setu, so they should... Fizen and Figo are probably the best places to put universities. So those are the two provinces with 2 upper development. Everything else has 1. So where's Figo? Right here. 18k. 30. I mean, this is actually, this one has a higher. Not actually. Okay. I mean, I might as well. It won't help the economic development of the province that much, but it will help my my general economy. Eventually, now that autonomy has hit 0 in several locations, I can actually start thinking about improving my education in order to make research and national ideas easier to obtain. My current economic situation, with the lack of autonomy, actually lets me have the option of doing so. It is definitely no longer the case that I want to have autonomy as low as possible. Since that, well, I still want that, however, I don't need to drive education down in order to do that, at least not to a significant degree. I'll move you to here, why not? And I think I have the Diplo points for an Explorer, however, I'm going to wait on that until I have the fleet of 3 ready. Right, I need 60 to fabricate a claim. Claims are not easy. They are not easy. Just take quite a bit of time. And let me use the rest of my naval force limit to add on to my trade fleet. Head to the capital. The ship will be done in 1 month. And then I can finally set off and start exploring. Although I do have a pretty good idea of what everything looks like over there. But it's the thought that counts. Recruit and explore. Right, first the Sea of the North Pacific. And then we can deal with the coastline later. I should be able to explore a decent distance anyway. The hangings will die out on their own. I'd rather not have to burn the stability to bring that down again. The prestige is honestly a easier loss to deal with. Besides, they don't actually affect my population numbers, so what do I care? Yeah, that's another part of being in the state. You don't really have to be nice if it doesn't suit your own interest. It's similar with a democracy. The party need not necessarily follow what it promises, especially if the population is already used to politicians breaking promises. Now, going through with them would actually strongly increase your support base, however. There's also the fact that some things can't be completed, like promising the world is your oyster to every individual person of a country isn't going to work so well. or promising, you know, cutting edge free healthcare in the middle of the Sahara. Of course, in most cases, it's not that ridiculous, but still. Oh, hey! The coastline I just explored actually has the name of the island here. Sakhalin. So they really did save the day and tell us what it is. The problem is, I couldn't see that coastline. So, oh well, now that I'm actually exploring. And I plan on eventually getting colonies. Colonial map mode. Okay, so these areas are within my capability. I'm not even going to ask, why is this not colonizable, but this can definitely be colonized? I'll probably colonize the island of the Ainu, and in order to strengthen my hold over, well, the Nippon node, as well as Sakhalin, and eventually start colonizing the coastline of Manchuria in order to get more control of the trade node. And then start further pressing into Siberia. Of course, I'll get the Kurils as part of the island of the Ainu. I know this has a name, but I forgot it. I think it's called Hokkaido? I'll leave the game running and go look that up. Yes, it's called Hokkaido. Alright, so... Oh. Right, time to do a couple things. First, fabricate claim. So many people have claims on that. It's almost as if they were all not technically legal. Hey. Anyway. I wanted to do that, and then I wanted to... Oh, yeah. Use up some manpower in order to remove the manpower modifiers. No local fortifications there. I really do not care enough about this province to... On the other hand, that has a lot of revenue. You know what, why not? Actually, no, fortifications would be better here in order to get rid of the... or work towards getting rid of the local fortifications. Right? Yeah. $40 ducats. Besides, I'm certainly not using the manpower for anything at the moment, so... Yay. Actually, now that I think about it, why am I not fabricating claims against you? You're my next target. You've got territory that's pretty accessible. On the other hand, there's still ships that I need to think of. Oh well. Manpower low. Alright, back to what I was saying. Okay, so the top island is Hokkaido, this here. Then the biggest island is called Honshu. It's this stretch of land. This, I'm actually pretty sure it's the state name. Shikoku. This island is Shikoku. And this is Kyushu. And Okinawa is down here. It's the biggest of the islands currently controlled by Ryukyu. Nowadays, they're all the islands of Ryukyu are all organized in one prefecture, as far as I'm aware. But Honestly, I don't really know that much about modern Japanese politics, so definitely take my word with a grain of salt there. A 1,000 manpower. Okay. Can't wait to put that into, well, conscripted labor projects. That's probably the best way I could put it. I'd rather get 50 admin points because those advisors get extremely expensive extremely quickly. Even if it's 50% off, it scales by a squared function. More or less, level 1 advisor, so compared to level 1 advisor, level 2 costs 4 times more, which is 2 squared. Level 3 costs 9 times more, 3 squared, and it goes on like that up until the level 5. Although in order you can promote advisors, but that requires greater civilization. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about here, that's the DLC you would have to buy in order to get that. Finally, admin tech. It has been quite a while. On the other hand, Renaissance is capped by now, so I could wait a little bit longer, but I find it doesn't really matter. Mayor's Palace? Ah, it's the City Hall list. Rank 4. I am nowhere near that point, so I don't really need it. The collector died too. Huh. Improved relations will actually be a bit helpful in getting Igris expansion to cool down. I definitely wanted to cool down a bit more before doing anything. Especially since altogether this territory that I'm planning on grabbing from Nikki is definitely more valuable, so it's gonna cause a good bit more outrage or feelings of insecurity among the other daimyos, as well as the shogun. At this point, I've definitely been paying lip service for decades by now, if not almost a century. in theory, I'm his subject, but in practice, I pretty much do whatever I want. Without any real regard for what the Shogun tells me. Because I am fully aware that he doesn't actually have any power over me. Not really. Again, this goes back to what all states desire. Control. The thing they desire most is the idea of survival. They want to survive, and then later on, once they're sure that their survival is going to be controlled, or if they have a good idea, if they think their future actions in obtaining control will help improve their survival chance. I mean, that's definitely the case here. I'm gathering as much control as possible in order to ensure that I remain independent-ish until I actually want to be independent. I want autonomy so I can have self-control and the capability of taking lands from my fellow vassals. Because states like control. It gives them resources. A higher level of control often comes with a larger amount of resources. Like with centralization in M&T. Remember, it's all part of state building. Of course, you can say a lot of countries aren't that interested in control. But I will also state in response that the ideals of a state and what it actually wants often clashes, and the ideals are often created by founders who sometimes really don't have any idea of what they're doing or what a state wants. That isn't necessarily the case all the time, however, I would say, in a way, democracy, for example, is a method of controlling the populace by letting them do what they want so that they're less likely to revolt. That's not to say that I dislike democracy. In fact, I find it to be one of the best things a state can do, but yeah, it is a method of controlling the population by letting it make its own decisions. Of course, there's also the fact that the state has to work around these decisions. However, there's a reason why they don't have to there's another reason why direct democracy is extremely rare. And so that the state has a little bit of leeway so they can, to a degree, do what they want. Within the confines of what the people want, and why there's so much spent on political campaigns and whatnot. So that the state is able to do what they want. At least within reason. Alright, let's upgrade the roads in Phison in order to get more wealth out of the province. More trade power, more gravity, more production power, as well as a better communications efficiency for the nearby. I mean, I figured it would happen eventually. Oh. Okay, now that it's finally cored, I can state it. It's gonna be a while before I can state core Issei though. Some prestige. Nice. I probably should do a royal marriage though. With my other ally. No, I already do. I guess I just need to find another source of legitimacy for a while if I want to keep it at 100. I guess I might as well burn the prestige. I really don't want to present Magnificent Gift to them. I will admit that. Wow, the explorers can actually travel quite far. Zen Buddhism, of course. Keep my yearly prestige gain up. And gets me an extra advisor to pick from. Which now is starting to become useful, because I'd rather have one skill advisors, because they give the most bang for the buck. It's partially for the small and extremely minor bonuses they give, but there's also the highly efficient rate of conversion from ducats to monarch points, which I'm starting to work towards getting more of, as technology is starting to gain increasing levels of importance compared to trying to make as much money as possible. It wasn't quite that much of the case beforehand, but now it is. I've already talked about this earlier in the footage though, so in this recording session. Sure. That will give me more prestige and help keep my legitimacy up. In fact, it will have its resting point at 100 unless my prestige is negative, which it is at the moment, but in the near future that's not going to be the case. I think that is present the heir. Because I haven't checked how old the heir is, and it's actually quite likely that they're almost... Nope, Shrine Pilgrimage. Decentralize to stabilize the nation. I am not doing that. I'd like my centralization, and I like it to stay high. Oh yeah, that's an incredible lack of stability points. I can at least check where it's all coming from, though. Mourning the late monarch and revoking privileges as well as bureaucracy, main culprits. Although my policies are doing good work in reducing that. Yeah, stability is going to be a little hard to come by for a while. But it has to do with the bureaucracy. At least with it, I'll be able to centralize and keep myself going for a very long while. Although it's going to be not easy to deal with corruption. Since not being able to gain stab quickly means it's going to be more difficult to remove the privileges of estates. I wonder how their capital is developed. Well, they don't have a trade war, but it does look like they have a decent production infrastructure. Well, decent amount of city infrastructure. And the population is continuing to grow. I can't wait to eventually integrate them and build a trade wharf there. Does seem like they lack a road system though, so I will have to deal with that when it's eventually going to become my territory. Yeah. Is that a temple? Looks like a great temple. Yep, it's a great temple. I can finally get a rival. Yeah, I figured it'd be Korea. It can take a moment, and... Oh, right, autonomous vassals can't do embargoes. I can still send an insult, though. Scornful insults are disabled anyway, so... Or at least, you can make them, it's just that they don't have any effect, and the AI weight to make them is also 0. At least I think it is. I mean, I've never seen the AI do it, so I would presume so. Right, so long as the spy comes back before the month's done, the spy network will not decay. Oh, it's one of the tribal songs. It's Among the Trees. I mean, I plan on definitely getting the first 3 exploration ideas. Probably the 4th one, too. And then I'll leave the rest for later, since I don't really need these benefits as much. The naval force limit modifier does seem like it would be fun, but... I don't really need to complete exploration ideas. Same with naval ideas, I just need the first 2 ideas for now. Later on, when I have more diplomatic mill points, I'll probably do more of these in order to get the benefits. But for now, it's not really useful. Oh well, I can't wait until I get admin tech level 20 and pick the next idea group. I'll probably do another admin idea group just for... because I don't want to deal with 2 of the same type. Anyway, it's close to an hour, so I'll just let the months pass, and then... we can go on ahead and save and end the recording here. Alright. Save the game. It's 2nd of October, but that doesn't matter. Not really. What's the difference of a day in this game? Very little, unless it happens to be between the end of the month and the start of the month. Since a lot of things are calculated by the month, but I'm digressing here. Anyway, I'll be seeing you tomorrow on the last day of the week for recording M&T. After that, we'll be going back to Franconia, as well as the edited versions of the campaign here. Until tomorrow, I'll see you then.